of BurpSuite. Now we'll just start introduction to Burp Proxy. So, Burp Proxy is the most fundamental and most important of the tools available in the Burp Suite. So, I will just go quickly. I will just not read the whole thing. I will just give you an overview. Okay. So, Burp Proxy is a popular tool which is used for web application security testing and vulnerability assessment. It is developed by Figure and it is widely used by security professionals and penetration testers. Okay. So Proxy acts as an intermediary between a web browser and the target application. Okay. It allows you to intercept, analyze, and then modify the HTTP requests or traffic that passes between the browser and the web server. So this makes it a powerful tool for identifying security vulnerabilities such as cross-site scripting, which we have learned previously, and then SQL injection, and then many more. Okay. So some key functionality of Burp Proxy are first of all, as I told you, like it is used for intercepting, right? So Burp Proxy sits between the client and the server, which allows you to intercept and then inspect all the HTTP as requests and responses. And this interception capability enables you to modify requests and responses, which is helpful for testing and then identifying security flaws. Okay. And then the next feature is traffic analysis. So first one I told you about interception. Okay. And the second one will be traffic analysis. So Burp Proxy provides detailed information about HTTPS requests. Okay. It provides us detailed information including header, cookies, and parameters and other data. Here you can just see the parameters are given, the cookies are given. So many things we can just get here. Okay. So it allows you to view and analyze the entire communication, then aiding in the identifying security vulnerabilities. Okay. Then next one is request modification. So with Burp Proxy, you can modify requests before they reach the server. Okay. This feature is useful for testing input validation, parameter manipulation, and similar security issues. Okay, so Burp Proxy is highly extensible. This allows you to enhance its functionality with custom extensions. So extensions can be developed using Java and provide additional features. Okay, so it's worth nothing that Burp Proxy is the part of larger Burp Suite, which also includes other tools like Burp Scanner, then Burp Intruder, and then Burp Repeater. Each serve different purpose in web application security testing. Okay, so we just go through these and we'll just move here. Like which button would you be used to send an intercept request to the target in Burp Proxy? So it is like when you like with the interception, when you just tap the interception on, you this captures the request. Okay, and when you want to just forward it, like if you want to forward this request, okay, so you just tap on the forward. So I think this will be forward. Okay, great. And next one is what is default keybind for this? Okay, assume you are using Windows or Linux. That is swap command for control. Mm, what you have to research. What is the default keybind for this? Okay, so default keybind will be we have learned in the previous topic the shortcuts, right? So that is swap CMD for control. So we have to swap like CMD. So for CMD, the command is control F. Okay, okay. Now connecting to the proxy. Okay, so you have seen the theory. It's now it's time to start using the proxy for yourself. Okay, so there are two ways to proxy our traffic to BurpSuite. First one is like we could use the embedded browser, and second one is we can configure our local web browser to proxy our traffic through Burp. This is the more common, and so will be focused for this task. Okay. So now the Burp proxy works by opening a interface on like 127.0.0.1. The port number is 880. This is the by default like port number. This port number is for the local host, and this is for the like port number. Okay. So as implied by the fact that this is proxy, we need to redirect all of the browser traffic through this port before we can start intercepting it with Burp. Okay. So we need to like send all the traffic through these like IP address, okay, this proxy. So we can do this by altering our browser setting, or more commonly by using a Firefox browser extension called Proxy. So Firefox basically it has a like extension called Foxy Proxy. We can make use of that. So Foxy Proxy allows us to save proxy profiles, meaning they can quickly and easily switch to our BurpSuite profile in a manner like matter of clicks. That then we can just disable the proxy just as easily. Okay. So if you are using your own machine, you can download Foxy Proxy. Like okay, if you are using your own like machine like a VMware, you can just download your Foxy Proxy. Okay. So you can just read more about the setting it the tryhackme task description. So after getting up and running, you can switch over to Burp Suite and make sure the interception is on. Then like here we can just like once installed Foxy Proxy, a button should appear the right top screen, which allows us to like access your proxy configuration here. And then you just click on the add, and title will be Burp, and the proxy IP will be the 127.1, and the port number will be 8080. And after that, save. Okay. Then when you just click on the Foxy Proxy icon at the top of the screen, you will see that there are configuration available right here. So if we click on the Burp config, our browser will start directing all the traffic to this. Okay. And then afterwards, you can just like intercept like on the interception. Okay. So now to accessing the home page for like HTTP, then the machine IP in the Firefox, your browser should hang and your proxy will populate with the request headers. Congratulations, you just intercepted your first request. Okay, I'll just tell you how we can just do it. Okay, I will just start this machine and the attack box. And I have like started like this is the machine, right? Sorry, machine. No, it is the proxy. Sorry, Burp Suite. So here, what we have to do, I will just tell you. Okay. Let me just check its proxy setting. Manual proxy and 8081. Okay. Now I'm like giving the port 8080 only. Okay. And then okay. And afterwards in the Burp Suite, here what we have to do, the setting tab, we just go in the this option. Okay, this is 8080 only. Okay. And we'll just come outside and the proxy when you just click on interception, and when you just the like click it, you can just see here the like request has been captured right here. So in this way we can just make use of the interception. Okay, so I hope you understood. Okay, great. So what we have to do is like okay, so congratulations, you intercepted your first request. Okay, we have to just request this website. Let me just click check this if it opens here. Mm, Okay, let the machine first of all start, and then you will just see your browser should hang and your proxy will populate with the request header. So when you just intercept, like on the interception, your browser will not work and it will just basically capture the request. Okay. So from here, you can just choose to forward or drop the request. Alternatively, you can send it to another tool or perform any number of like other actions by right clicking on the request. Okay. So read through the options in the right click menu. There is one particularly useful option that allows us to intercept and modify the response. What is the option? What is the option is in the drop down sub menu. So I will just let you know. I will just close this first of all. It's of no use right now. So here, what it has said, like there is one particularly useful option that allows uh, you to intercept and modify the response to your request. So when I just move into here in the Burp Suite, when you just click on like interception, like anything, you just first of all just capture like here, okay. And when you just click here, there is a option called and they do intercept response to its request. This is the option, okay. So like here, it was given there is a particularly useful option that allows you to intercept and modify the request. So when you just move into the do intercept option, there is a term called response to this request. Okay, response to this request, and response. Yeah, oh, sorry, and then okay. We just try installing Proxy standard and have a look at the pattern. Okay. And next one is a proxy HTTPS. So, like the attack box is already configured to solve this problem posed in this task. If you are using the attack box and don't wish to read through the information, you can just skip that. So, I will just give you a brief. Like, if you have decided to use your own system instead of an attack box, then you will need to run into the following problem, right? When viewing to the like HTTPS, like google.com, for example, you will get the following error like software is preventing Firefox from safely connecting to the site. So you can just see the task description that tryhackme to solve this problem. Okay, so you just go through that and like there it asks the certificate basically for the viewing the HTTPS request. It needs to like it demands for the certificate. So you can just generate and you can just provide it. Okay, you can just see here. Okay, and we'll just move forward in the Burp Suite browser. So if you decide not to use Firefox as a browser, which has been set up with a proxy during the last task, so it is possible to use the BurpSuite browser. So currently I'm using the currently I'm using the my own browser, right? This is the Firefox browser. But you can also use like as in the previous task, I was using just attack box Firefox, right? So you can just use that also, or just simply you can use the browser of Firefox. BurpSuite here in the open browser option. Okay, great. And it is possible to use the BurpSuite browser. This is a built-in Chromium browser that is pre-configured to use the proxy without any of the modification we just had to do. So this is not as commonly used as the process detailed in the like previous few tasks. People tend to stick with their own browser as it gives them a lot more customizability. However, both are perfectly valid choices. So we can just start the Burp browser with the open browser button in the proxy tab, as I told you here. Okay. So if we are running on Linux as the root user, as we are with the attack box currently, so Burp is unable to create a sandbox environment to start the Burp browser in. So there are two simple solutions for this. The smart option. So we could create a new user and then run BurpSuite under a low privileged account. And then the easy option, we could go to project options, then MySec and embedded browser, and check the allow the embedded browser to run without the sandbox option. So checking these options will allow the browser to start, but be aware that it is disabled by default for security reasons. If we get compromised using the browser, then attacker will have access to your entire machine. So our question is like using the built-in browser, make a request to like HTTP machine and capture its proxy. Just go through it and just do it. Okay. And next one is scoping and targeting. So now we come to one of the most important parts of using the Burp proxy, and that is scoping. Okay, so it can get extremely like tedious having Burp capturing all of our traffic, right? So when it logs everything, including the traffic sites we aren't targeting, so it muddles up logs we may later wish to send to clients. Okay, in short, just allow Burp to capture everything can quickly become a massive pain. So setting a scope for the project allows us to define what gets proxied and logged. Okay. So the easiest way to do this is by switching over the target tab. In the target tab, you can just go and right click our target from our list on the top, then choosing add to scope. Okay. And Burp will then ask us whether we want to stop logging anything which isn't in scope, or most of the time we want to choose yes here. Okay. So the scope subtab allows us to control what we are targeting by either including or excluding domains or IPs. So this is very powerful section. So it's well worth taking the time to get a customized to use it. Okay. So we just choose to disable logging for out of scope traffic, but the proxy will still be intercepting everything. Okay. To turn this off, we need to go into the proxy options, subtab, and then select and URL is in target scope. Okay. So with this option selected, the proxy will completely ignore anything that isn't in the scope, vastly cleaning up the traffic coming to Burp. Okay. You just go through that here, this option. Okay. And we'll just move forward in the sitemap and issue definitions. So control of the scope may be the most useful aspect of the target tab, but it's by no means the only use for this section of Burp. There are three subtabs under target. There is sitemap, scope, and then issue definition. So sitemap allows us to map out the apps we are targeting in a tree structure. Every page that we visit will show up here, allowing us to automatically generate a sitemap for the targets simply by browsing around the web app. Then in the scope settings, we have already seen the scope subtab. It allows us to control Burp's target scope for the project. And then in the issues definitions, well, if we don't have access to the Burp Suite vulnerability scanner in Burp community, we do still have access to a list of all the vulnerabilities it looks for. The issue definition section gives us a huge list of web vulnerabilities, complete with descriptions and references. Okay, so take a look around the site on HTTP, then IP. We will be using a lot throughout the module. Visit every page link to this home page, then check for sitemap. One endpoint should stand out as being very unusual. Visit this browser or use the response section of the sitemap entry for the endpoint. What is the flag you receive? Okay, so I will just start this machine again. We'll just wait for some time till the machine gets on, and after that, we'll just move forward. Okay. Okay, so we have to visit this site. Okay. Okay, so what we have to do here is like it is asking what is the flag you received. So for that we need to look at the site map here. Okay, so we will just go into the site map. Okay, and there we have to capture first of all the request. I will use its browser. We have to capture this request. HTTP list or target, and then we will get here the IP address of our. Let me just check this one. Okay, I will use its own BurpSuite for this purpose because it's not supporting right now. Mm. Okay, it started here, and in the target section in the site map, I will just refresh this first of all. Let's You just set its proxy to a 127.0.0.1 and then port number 8080. Okay, and then click on OK. And let me just check it once. Okay, it captures the request, and in the target tab, in the sitemap, okay, here it came. Okay, and what we have to do here, this is the IP address. Okay, then we just click here in the drop down, and we have to just find all the in the ticket section. In the browser, whatever your problem, you can be sure that your amazing support team will greet you with a smile. You have to submit a ticket. Okay. So I guess here it is nothing. Let's go to the submit ticket section here, and I will just forward this. Okay. This is a new. Okay. We'll just forward this. Okay, we got it here. You can just see in the target tab. Mm, Again, we have to forward. Yeah, this is the ticket, a new ticket. Okay, so here what we will do, we just see this is another file generated here. So we just click on that file. Okay, and in the response tab, we will just get the flag here. This is the flag. Okay, so this was all about like getting the flag. We'll just copy this and move here in the, and I'll just paste. Submit. Great. So this was all about like how we can just capture the flag by like uh, capturing the request, and then how we can just get it from the site website. Okay, here it was given. So now look through the issue definition list. What is typical severity of vulnerable JavaScript dependency? So in the issue definition, okay, issue definitions of vulnerable JavaScript. We have to find the vulnerable JavaScript option. Yeah, vulnerable JavaScript dependency. It is low. Okay, so I will just click it here and write low. So this was all about like uh, you understood right that the target option and the sidebar. Now we'll just move into the example attack. So having looked at how to set up and configure your proxy, let's go through a simplified real world time. So we will start by taking a look at the support form at this. So I'll just explain this and just try it by your own. Okay. Um, okay. So just go in this IP address and in a real world web app pen test, we would test this for a variety of things. One of which would be cross-site scripting. If you have not yet encountered access, it can be throughout. Like we have just read about the cross-site scripting, right? So there are various kind of accesses. The type that we are using here is referred to as reflected accesses, as it only affects the person making the web request. So try typing a script alert into the contact email field. Should find that there is client-side filter in place, which prevents you from adding any characters, special characters that aren't allowed in the email address. Just try here and just submit the query. Okay. And fortunately for us, client-side filters are absurdly easy to bypass. There are a variety of ways we could disable the script or just prevent it from loading in the first place. So let's focus on simply bypassing the filter for now. So first, make sure the Burp proxy is active and then the interception is on. Now, enter some legitimate data into the support form. For example, pen tester. Just write there pentester@example.thm as the email address and query as a text attack. Okay. And with the request captured in the proxy, we can change the email field to our very script. So the email was this. Now you just change the email like area with this script. After passing in the payload, we need to like shortcut to make it safe to send. This process is shown in the okay here. You can just see you just change the email option with the script and we will just forward it, right? Then we will just submit the query. Okay. And finally, press the forward button to send the request. Now you just click on the forward button. So you should find that you get an alert box from the site indicating successful access attack. When you just do this, you will get a option like the alert message. Okay. So just try this, and if it doesn't work, I will just make you understand once again. Okay. And the room conclusion. We have now reached the end of the basic room. So this room has hopefully given you a good grasp of BurpSuite interface and configuration options, as well as giving you a working knowledge of the Burp proxy. So this room has hopefully like given you a good grasp. Okay. So now okay, I understand. Okay. So this was all about the BurpSuite proxy basics one. Okay. Okay. Now we'll just move forward. We have completed the basics of BurpSuite, and now we'll just move into the repeater. So welcome to the Burp repeater room. Having covered the basics of using BurpSuite, the room will dive into one of the most powerful aspects of the framework, namely the BurpSuite repeater module. So we will be covering how to use repeater to manipulate and arbitrarily resend captured requests. So here what we do basically, we just capture the request. I will just show you here. When you just click on the repeater, like if this is the proxy, okay. Sorry, this is the request, and if I send it to repeater, And then here you can just make changes into anything. Here you can just write it anything, and you can just send it, and the response will be shown here. Okay, this is the thing of repeater. Okay, so we'll just move forward. And what is repeater? So, BurpSuite repeater allows us to craft and or relay intercepted requests to a target at will. In layman's term, it means we can take a request captured in the proxy, then edit it and send the same request repeatedly as many times as our wish. Okay. So this ability of edit and resend the same request multiple times make repeater ideal for any kind of manual poking around at any endpoint. So providing us with a nice graphical user interface for writing the request payload and numerous views of the responses so that we can see the result of our handwork in like action. So as I told you, how to send the like thing into request into this repeater. So get the just click on complete and then basic usage. Willish, we can craft requests by hand. It would be much more common to simply capture a request in the proxy, then send that through to repeater for editing and resending. So with a request captured in the proxy, we can send to repeater either by right-clicking on the request and then choosing send to repeater or by pressing Control R simply. Okay. So switching back to repeater, we can see that our request is now available here. Okay. So the target and inspector elements are now also showing information here, target and inspector. So, however, we do not yet have a response. When we click on the send option here, okay, send button, the response section quickly populates here. Okay, so if you want to change anything about the request, you can simply type in the request window and press send again. And this will update the response on the right. For example, changing the connections here, the close connections. If you want to open it, like right here, here open. You could then also use the history buttons to write up the send button to go forward here. Okay. So now capture a request to HTTP machine in the proxy and send it to repeater. You just try it by your own. We'll just move into the views. So repeaters offers a various ways to present the response to our request. These range from hex output all the way up to a fully rendered version of the page. You can see the options available by looking above the response box. Okay, here. So there is pretty, raw, hex, and render. So pretty, this is the default option. It takes the raw responses and attempts to beautify it slightly, making it easier to read. And then the raw, this is the pure unbeautified response from the server. And then the hex, this view tasks the raw responses and gives us a byte view of it, especially useful if the response is binary file. Okay. And then the hex one, sorry, hex I finished. Then the render view like renders the page as it would appear in your browser. Finished, not hugely like useful given that we would usually be interested in the source code when using repeater. There is still a neat trick. Okay. So in most instances, the pretty option is perfectly adequate. However, it is still well worth knowing how to use the other two options. We'll just move the questions. Okay, so which view option display the responses in the same format as your browser would? So it is pretty, right? Sorry, which view option displays the responses in the same format as your browser? Okay, so here I will just tell you. When you just send any request to the like repeater, and when you just click on the render, okay, you're in the render. Currently, my like machine is not like started, which the request I have captured. So when you just click on the render, it will show you the same page as your website looks. Okay, so this is the beautification of render. So, okay, this will be render. And then the next one is inspector. So in many ways, inspector is entirely supplementary to the request and response fields of the repeater window. If you understand how to read and edit HTTP requests, then you may find that you rarely use inspector at all. Okay. So inspector can be used in the proxy as well as the repeater. In both the cases, it appears over at the very right hand of this window and gives you a list of components in the request and responses. So of these, the request sections can nearly always be altered, allowing us to add, edit, and delete items. And the other sections available for viewing and editing are like query parameters. Here you can just see query parameters, body parameters. So what is query parameters? So query parameter, which refers to data being sent to the server in the URL. For example, in the GET request, you just get HTTPS admin. Okay. So there is a query parameter called redirect here. Okay. With a value of false. And the next is body parameters, so which do the same thing as query parameters, but for post request. Okay, this was for get and this for post. Anything that is sent as data in a post request will show up in this section. And once again, allowing us to modify the parameters before resending it. The request cookies, this contains, as you may expect, a modifiable list of cookies which are being sent with each request. Then request headers. So this allows us to view, access, and modify any of the headers being sent with our request. Okay. And editing these can be very useful when attempting to see how a web browser will respond to unexpected headers. Then the response headers. So this shows us the headers that the server sent back in the response to our request. These cannot be edited as we can't control what headers the server returns to us. So note that this section will only show up after we have sent the request and received a response. So you just get comfortable with inspector and practice adding and removing items. Okay, you just go through that. And now example one. So here, repeater is best suited for the kind of task where we need to send the same request numerous times, usually with small changes in different like requests. For example, we may wish to manually test for an SQL injection vulnerability, which we will do in an upcoming task. So attempt to bypass a web application firewall filter or simply add or change parameters in a form submission. For now, let's start with an extremely simple example using repeater to alter the headers of a request we send to a target. So now we have to capture a request to this in the proxy and send it to repeater. As I told you by like example, right? Just follow that and try viewing this in one of the view options rendered. Just try that also using inspector or manually if you refer. Add a header called flag authorized and set it to value true. And okay, now I will just show you the example here. I will just start this attack machine. Okay, I will just explain and show this. Uh, Till then, we'll just see the challenge one. So in the previous task, we used repeater to add a header and send a request. This should serve as an example for using repeater. Now it's time for a very simple challenge, which you are proxy deactivated. Head up to this link and try clicking on some of the see more links. Do you notice that it redirects to the numeric endpoint that is products tree when you click for more detail? These endpoints need to be validated to ensure that the number you try to navigate persists and is a valid integer. However, what happens if it is not adequate value? So, say if you can get the server to error out with a 500 internal server error code by changing the number at the end of the request to extreme inputs. So, we will do this also. Okay, so here I will just start the Firefox browser and the BurpSuite also. And in this example, we have to go in this. Okay, so first of all, I will just uh, interception is of okay. First of all, I have to set its proxy, and then port will be great. And then here the request has been captured, and I will send it to your repeater. Repeater, okay. And here what we will do, here we will just add the it was written to add this flag authorized, right? So I will just write flag authorized to true, and then I will just send it. And the response, the render part, okay. Why? Hmm. Okay, let me just check it once more. Just close this and the proxy tab. I will on the interception and refresh this page. And here I will just send it to repeater, and then I will just send it. So here you can just see what we got. And after that, I will just write here, mm, I'll just copy it from here, flag authorized. Then we have to set it true. And then again, I will send it. And then we'll view the response here. Just wait for some seconds. Let me just close this proxy. Uh, Once again, it's taking too much time. Here the response is coming, and the render tab also could not connect to browser by setting 178.39. And it's not connecting to browser. Then we must get here the flag. Something we are making a mistake or using Spectre or manually if you prefer, add a header. Okay, and set. Make sure you leave the two blank lines at the bottom of the request. Let's try this. Yeah, everything is correct, but could why saying could not connect to browser? Hmm. Okay, so I don't know what's the mistake right now. We'll just move forward here. Everything is okay. Okay. So in the challenge part, we have to capture a request, right? Here. Okay, just try this one by your own. Okay, and this error, I will just tell you what's the error here, why we are not getting the request here. So you just try the challenge part and you just move forward to the SQLi with a repeater. So this task contains an extra mile challenge, which means that it is a slightly harder real world application for Burp Repeater. If you feel comfortable performing a manual SQL injection by yourself, you may skip to the last question and try this as blind challenge. Otherwise, a guide will be given below. So there is a union SQL vulnerability. In the ID parameter of the about ID endpoint, find this vulnerability and execute an attack to the retrieve the nodes about. So just practice this questions which is given here. Okay, just go through that. It's simple. You have to just get the response. Okay, so at last we will get the flag. I will just move to the room conclusion. So we have now completed the Bob repeater room. You should hopefully now understand how to use repeater to edit, manipulate, and resend a request, as well as having an idea about the many practical applications. So just try these. Okay, you just try the challenges and practicals also. I'm just leaving it to you. And now we'll just move forward into the next, that is Burp Suite Intruder. Okay, so here, so in the previous room of this module, we have covered Burp Suite proxy and repeater functionality. If you have not completed these rooms and not familiar with these aspects of the framework, then you are advised to complete at least the Burp basics room before proceeding. This room will cover the third part of the Burp Suite primary module, that is Intruder. Let's begin this. Okay, so Intruder is a BurpSuite tool and inbuilt a fuzzing tool. It allows us to take a request and use it as template to send many more requests with slightly altered values automatically. For example, by capturing a request containing a login attempt, we can then configure Intruder to swap out the username and password fields for values for a word list effectively, allowing us to brute force the login form. Similarly, we could pass in a fuzzing word list and use Intruder to fuzz for subdirectories and find a virtual host. This functionality is very much similar to that provided by command line tools such as FFUF. Okay. In short, as method for automating requests, here we can just perform various type of attacks like brute force. Okay. So There are multiple sub-tabs like positions. This allows us to select an attack type. Then payloads allows us to select values and resource pool. This is not particularly useful to us in a BurpSuite community. It allows us to divide a resource between tasks. Okay, so next one is options tab, and which section of the options sub-tab allows us to control what information will be captured in the intruder results. So, what was the question? Which section of the outputs on the options sub-tab allows you to control what information will be captured in the intruder result. Okay. Um, Fourth section down in the options sub-tab. Okay. Okay. Options sub-tab. In the options sub-tab, we have to see. So let me just check here in the intruder. Okay, I'll just send it to intruder. And in the settings, it is attack results. Okay. Um, okay. In which intruder sub-tab we can define the attack type for our planned attack. It is positions, right? It will be positions. And then the first one is positions. So when we are looking to perform an attack with intruder, the first thing we need to do is look at positions. Positions tell intruder where to insert payloads, which we will look at the in upcoming task. Let's switch over the positions tab. This is the positions tab. Notice that Burp will attempt to determine the most likely places we may wish to insert. This sign, basically here we can just change it. Okay. So on the right hand side of the interface, we have the buttons labeled at here. This one. Clear this and auto. Okay. So add one lets us to define new positions by highlighting them in the editor, and clear helps to remove all the defined positions, and auto attempts to select the most likely positions automatically. Okay. And here you can just see when we add it just the symbols just appear here. Okay, and the clear it just goes on auto. It basically sets the parameter which we want to like which need to be changed. Okay, so we'll just move forward. Attack type introduction. So let's switch the positions sub-tab and look in the attack tabs drop-down menu. There are four types of attack: snipper, battering ram, pitchfork, and cluster bomb. We'll look at these in turn. Okay. And snipper. Okay, snipper is the first and most common attack type. When conducting a snipper attack, we provide one set of payloads. For example, this could be a single file containing a word list or range of numbers. From here on out, we will refer to a list of items to be sorted into slotted into requests using the BurpSuite terminology of a payload set. Intruder will take each payload in a payload set and put it into defined each defined positions in turn. Like take a look at the example template from before. So there are two positions defined here, the username and the password, right? So in the snipper tag, Intruder will take each position and substitute each payload into its turn. For example, let's assume we have a word list with three words in Burp, Suite, and Intruder. Okay, so with the two options that we have, Intruder would use these words to make six requests, like Intruder, Burp, then the password, and username, Suite. So it basically like sets all the request and names. So notice how Intruder starts with the first option username and tries each of the payloads, then moves to the second option and tries the same payload again. We can calculate the number of requests that Intruder sniper will make, like number of words and the number of positions. Okay. And then the quality makes Snip a very good for single position attack. Example, pass with brute force if we know the username. If you are knowing the username, simplest one is the brute force. So if you are using sniper to first three parameters in a request with a word list containing 100 words, how many requests Burp Suite need to send the complete attack? So number of words is 100 and number of positions is 3. So it will be 300, right? Yeah. Then how many sets of payload will sniper accept for conducting an attack? How many sets of payload it will like it will be 3, I think. No. How many sets of payload will sniper accept for conducting an attack? Mm, it will take each position. Okay. Mm, it will take single sniper attack accept, I think, because here it was written single file containing a word list. Okay, single. So it will be one, I think. Okay. So snipper is good for attacks where we are only attacking a single parameter or nine. Sniper is good for attacks where we are only attacking a single parameter. Yes. Okay. Then battering ram. So your next, let's took a look at the battering ram attack type. Like snipper, battering ram takes one set of payloads, that is one word list. Unlike snipper, the battering ram puts the same payload in every position rather than in the each position in turn. So let's use the same word list and example request. Okay, same the word list. And if we use battering ram to tag this, intruder will take each payload and substitute it into every position at once here. Okay. So, as a hypothetical question, you need to perform a battering ram intruder attack on the example request above. Okay. So, um, if you have a word list with two words in its admin and guest, and the positions in the request template look like this, what would be the body parameters of the first request that the Bob should send? It will be uh, this one. Here it will be admin, admin, right? Um, if you have a word list with two words in it, admin and guest, and the positions in the request template look like this. What would be the body parameter of the first request at the you know it will be payload. Okay. So uh, word okay. If you have a word list with two words in it, admin and guest, and the positions in the request template look like this, that is username is equal to pen tester and password is equal to exploited. Okay. So what should be the body parameters of the first request that BurpSuite sends be? So I think it will be admin, but how it came payload? Yeah, it will be this only admin password. Okay, let me just remove this here. Okay, the thing was coming off this. Okay, then the attack pitchfork. So two down, two more to go. After snipper, pitchfork is the attack type you are most likely to use. It may help to think of pitchfork as being like having numerous snippers running simultaneously, where sniper uses one payload set, and here the pitchfork uses one payload set up position for like 20. Okay, this type of attack can take a little time to get your head. So let's use our brute force example for from before. So our first word list will be usernames. It contains three entries, Joel, Harriet, and Alex. Let's say that Joel, Harriet, and Alex have had their password leaked. We know that Joel's password is 031 and okay. So we can just this is the like password and username. What is the maximum number of payloads? It will be 20 as it was said above only. Just go through that. And in the cluster bomb, like finally, we come to the last of intruders attack at the cluster bomb, like which for cluster bombs allows us to choose multiple payload sets, one per positions up to maximum of 20. Okay. However, village pitchfork iterates through each payload set simultaneously. Cluster bomb iterates through each payload set individually, making sure that every possible combinations of payloads is tested. Again, the best way to visualize this is with an example. The username is Joel, Harriet, and Alex, and the passwords are these. But this time, let's assume that we don't know which password belongs to which. So it will like for each username, it will like check every password, right? So the same thing happens. So how many requests will intruder make? Okay, we have three payload sets. The first sets contain 100 lines, the second contains two lines, and the third contains 30 lines. How many requests will intruder make using these payloads set in the cluster bomb? So there are first 30 lines. Okay, so just we will just multiply the lines, that is 30 into 2 is 60 and 60 into 100 is 6,000. Okay, and then the payloads. So there was a lot of theory. So kudos for reading through. There will be plenty of practicals in the upcoming tasks. So you just go through that, how you can set the payloads. Here in the payload option, you can just simply like type the payloads and then add. Here, with the add, okay. So which payload type lets us load a list of words in a payload set. Okay, it will be simple list. Here you can just see. There is no okay. Okay, here you can just see simple list. This basically the default one. Okay, so it will be the simple list. And then which payload processing rule could be used to add characters at the end after each payload in the set? So it was add suffix. Okay, this one add. Okay, and the practical example, we have covered a lot of theory in the last section. It's now past time that we put in all practice. Let's try to gain access to the support portal. This is the support portal. This is a fairly typical login portal. Looking at the source code for the form, we could see that there are no protective measures in the place. Okay, so the question is here is like download and unzip the Boston hosting credits.zip file. You just download from here. Okay, and it doesn't matter whether you do this by clicking the download link in the task or by using the files hosted in the deployed machine that is already there. Okay, the zip file contains four words: emails, username, password, and combined. So these contain list of leaked emails, usernames, and password respectively. The last tab contains the combined email and password list. Okay, so navigate to this browser, activate the Burp proxy, and try to log in, caching the request in your proxy. Okay, and then send the request to the proxy to intruder by clicking the like right clicking the and selecting send to intruder, and then you just set the attack type to pitchfork. Okay, and when you just switch over the payload sub tab, we should find that we have two payload sets, one and two. Okay, so we can leave both of them as simple payloads, and in the first payload set, you just choose load and do the same thing for like here in the load section, you just go in the password.txt and just click here and okay. So we have done all we need to do, and in the tag section, we just start the attack. Okay. So in this way, we can just do okay, and you will just get like after some time, you will just get the request like the username and password. Okay. So you just go through and just try it by yourself once. Okay. We'll just move into the challenge. In the previous task, we gained access to the support system. Now it's time to see what we can do. You just practice, just go through all these articles and you just practice it by your own. So you can just get hands-on. Okay. So now the home interface shows us the table of tickets. If we click on any of the rows in the table, we get redirected to a page where we can view the full ticket. Looking at the URL, just a second. Looking at the URL, we can see these pages are numbered as here number. Okay, so what that this means? This numbering means that we know the tickets aren't being identified by hard to guess IDs. They are simply assigned an integer identifier, like here one, two. It will like assign. It will be assigned. Okay. Then, so what does this mean? The numbering means that we know the tickets aren't being identified by hard to guess IDs. They are simply assigned an integer identifier. What happens if we use intruder to first the like first identifier and okay, what happens if we use intruder to the first the support ticket number and point? One of the two things will happen. And then the endpoint has been set up correctly only to allow us to view tickets that are assigned to our current user, and the input has not had the correct control set. So let's try fuzzing this endpoint. Which type of attack is best suited for this attack? It will be sniper because we are currently not knowing the username and ID. We are just checking it with the number. And the sniper also, we were doing the same thing. Like we were uh, like combining it with the IDs, right? So either using the response type in the attack result windows or by looking at each tuple that is 200 code. Request manually in your browser, find the ticket and contains which contains the flag. Just in the sniper, like in the view site map, right? We were finding the tickets. So you just go through that method and just get the when you just when you just do the sniper attack, you will just get the values, and then you will get the you will find the tickets, and in that ticket you just check for the flag. Okay. And the next one is CSRF token bypass. So let's crank this up a notch with an extra mile exercise. The challenge will be a slightly harder variant of the credential stuffing attack that we carried out a few tasks ago. Only this time, there will be a measures in place to make brute forcing harder. If you are comfortable using burp macros, please feel free to do this challenge blind, otherwise read on. Let's start by catching a request and reviewing the response. You just in this page, you just go in the BurpSuite and just refresh this page, and you will just capture the uh, request. Okay. So we have the same username and fields, password fields as before, but now there is also a session cookie. So now the session cookie is there. So just what the question is given, like navigate to your this page and activate the Burp proxy and attempt to log in. Capture the request and send it to Intruder. Okay, you just send it to Intruder. Configure the positions the same way as we did in the brute forcing, like pitchfork. You just set the attack and then clear all the predefined positions. Okay, and only select the username and password and then add it. Okay, so now switch over the payloads subtab in the payload section and load in the same username and password word list. The password and word list, username word list, which we have used in the previous task. You just use that payloads and you just start the attack. Okay, the username and password parameters handle, we now find a great way to send the session cookie. Unfortunately, recursive prep won't work here. It will redirect response intruder. So macros allows us to perform the same set of actions repeatedly in case we simply want admin login. So in the macro recorder, you just go in here and you just set the CSRF token. Okay, and then here grab CSRF and still in the session subtract the project options, scroll up in the session handling. A new window will pop up. Okay, like details and scope one. Okay, you just set the tool as intruder and URL scope as the defined target tag. Again, here the GIF is showing the steps. You just follow that and you just click on the add button and then run the macro. Okay, you will get the result. Okay, so just read through that. I will just move forward here. So, um, so here you have now completed the intruder room. This room looked at how to use the intruder aspect of the BurpSuite framework when automating requests. So you should now be able to comfortable use intruder and its various type of attacks. So you just practice these. I will just not show every task. You just try it by your own also. Okay. Okay. So the next one is we have finished the intruder also and other modules. Uh, Okay, along the well-known of repeater and intruder, BurpSuite also has several slightly more obscure modules built in. So like decoder, compare, and sequencer. Okay, so overview here. Mm, The BurpSuite decoder module allows us to manipulate data. As the name suggests, we can decode information that we capture during an attack, but we can also encode data of our own, ready to be sent to the target. Decoder allows us to generally it allows us to decrypt the hash values. Okay, so you just go through that and encoding and decoding part. Like, let's take a closer look at the manual encoding and decoding options. Like there are plain URL, HTML. These are the encode type. And in the decode section also we have various options like HTML, base 64, archive, visit. Okay, just this is very much easy. Like here you can just decode it as like encode it as. Okay, you have the various methods. Okay, so just try this. Okay, what is the base 64 encoded version of this text? Let's start simple. So just you just go in the decoder and just decode or encode it. Okay, just try this. And the hashing type. So hashing basically is like converting arbitrary length of input into fixed output. Okay, fixed length of output. Okay. So, for example, using the MD5 algorithm to generate a hash sum for the text MD5 sum returns this. Using the same algorithm to generate a hash sum of MD sum. So, this basically for every different like characters and words, it generates different like hash values. So, it is very much case sensitive. So, everything matters here, like the capital letter and the small letter, it matters everything. You can just see the word is same, MD5 sum and MD5 sum, but the output is different. Okay, so you just check it here, just go through that. So the next one is comparer. So it seems that comparer is a feature of like BurpSuite. The comparer tool is a component of BurpSuite that allows you to compare two HTTP requests or responses side by side. It can be helpful in identifying differences and anomalies between two similar requests or responses. Okay, so how you can use the comparator tool, like start by intercepting the HTTP request using Burp Proxy. Then you can just configure your web browser to use Burp Proxy as a proxy server, which allows Burp Suite to capture the request and parameters and responses. So once you have intercepted the request, you can just select two requests or responses that you want to compare. You can do this by selecting them from the proxy history or by clicking the request response and choosing compare with option. Okay, and the comparer. So after selecting the request or responses, right click on them and choose the compare with option. Then you will be forwarded in the compare tool in a new tab. So view the comparer. In the compare tool, you will see the two selected request or responses displayed side by side or up and down. The difference between the two will be highlighted. Okay, here you can just see the highlight is there. So the thing is similar with the compare. Basically, it compares the thing. Okay, you just go to the example and sequencer here. So okay. The sequencer tool is used for analyzing and the quality of randomness in generated tokens, such as identifiers or other security-related values used in web applications. It helps identify weak or predictable values that could be exploited by attackers. The sequencer tool performs statistical analysis on a set of input values. Okay, so this captures the data first of all, and it generates a token, and then it analyzes the token, and then it calculates the entropy this measures the randomness and then it generates a report. This basically is done by the sequencer. Okay. So you just see the sequence example, and the room conclusion is that like in this we just show the recorder, sequence and comparer and its examples. Okay, so just read it and we'll just move forward here. So the next one is BurpSuite extender. So welcome to the BurpSuite extender room. This room will focus on BurpSuite modular aspects, the exposed functionality. Okay, so Burp Suite Extender allows you to extend the functionality of the Burp Suite platform by developing and integrating custom extensions. It allows us to like make the extensions. So it provides a framework for creating your own plugins, adding new features, and integrating external tools into Burp Suite ecosystem. The external tool is designed to enhance your web application security testing capabilities and streamline your workflow. Okay, this is the extensions, and here you can just say install, App Store, APIs and extension settings. You can just create here. Okay. So the Web Store or the Burp App Store, which is known as Web Store for short, gives us the way to easily list official extensions. Here you can just see in the Web Store, you can just search for any of the like extension and you can just add it. Okay. And Python, like if we want to use Python modules in BurpSuite, we need to download and include separate Python interpreter jar file. So in same way, you can just add the Python environment. Okay, like here, you can just download and select the file here. And the BurpSuite API, so Vilish coding our own modules is far out with the scope of this module. It is worth looking very briefly at how such a task might be approached. So we can just view this API stat and you can just use the Burp extend the APIs to create our own extension here. Okay, you can just create. There's nothing more in this room. So we have completed the module of the Burp Suite, whole thing, the basic intruder, repeater, sequencer, decoder. Okay, so now we'll just move into the network security part. It also has a great okay. So welcome to the first room of the network security module. And this module covers passive reconnaissance, active nmap, okay, all these things. In this room, after we mm, passive reconnaissance, right? So in this room, after we defined passive reconnaissance and active reconnaissance, we focus on essential tools. Okay, so passive reconnaissance is a way of like gaining information about targeted computers and networks without actively engaging with that particular system. We mainly gather information based on publicly available information. Okay, so like in this step of passive recon, we will look at information that will be publicly available without interacting directly with the target. So the step one is Whois. So Whois uses the query and response protocol that is used to search for an object in RFC 392 3912 database. It helps us to like gather information such as contact information, registration date, or registration updates, etc. Okay, so So this rule expects the users to have a working knowledge, okay, of computer system. So before the dawn of computer system and networks in the art of war, uh, if you know the enemy and yourself, okay, reconnaissance can be defined as preliminary survey to get information about the target. In the first step, the United States chain to gain an initial foothold on a system. We divide reconnaissance into passive and active. In passive, you rely on publicly available knowledge. It is the knowledge that you can access from publicly available resources without directly engaging with the target. So passive reconnaissance actively include many activities like looking up DNS records of a domain from a public DNS server and checking jobs ad related to target website, reading news article about the target company. Okay. And active reconnaissance, on the other hand, cannot be achieved so discreetly. It requires direct engagement with the target. Think of it like you check the locks on the doors and windows, among other potential entry points. Okay. So examples of active reconnaissance activities include like connecting to one of the company servers such as HTTP, FTP, and SMTP, calling the company and attempt to get information. So like you visit the public Facebook page of the target company, hoping to get some of the employee names. What kind of reconnaissance activity is this? A for active and P for passive. So it is passive, right? Then you ping the IP address of the company web server to check if ICMP traffic is blocked. What kind of reconnaissance activity is this? It will be active. And then what happens to meet, sorry, you happen to meet the IT administrator of the target company at a party. You try to use social engineering to get more information about the systems and network infrastructure. What kind of reconnaissance activity is there? That is active. Okay. Then the who is. So who will the request and response? Basically, I told who is basically gives the whole exam, you can say whole details like contact details, register domain, everything. It gives everything. Okay. So like when was tryhackme.com registered? You can just see registered on this is the creation date 2018 077. No, this is not the okay, yeah. Registrar registration expiry date. This is the expiry date, right? Mm, this is only yeah, creation date, right? So it will be 20 18 07 5. Then what is the registrar of tryhackme.com? Registrar of yeah, this is the registrar named Chief INC .com. So it will be name chief.com. Okay. Then which company is tryhackme.com using for name servers? For the name server, it is using name server. Okay, let me just check once by starting the tag box. Okay, so terminal, and there I have to write here who is tryhackme.com. So here you can just see what was the question? Which company is Tryhackme name server? This is cloudflare.com. So it will be cloudflare.com. Okay. Yep. So next one is our NS lookup and dig. So in the previous task, we used the WHOIS protocol to get various information about the domain name we were looking up. In particular, we were able to get the DNS servers from the registrar, find the IP address of a domain name using NSLOOKUP, which stands for name server lookup. You need to issue the command like NSLOOKUP domain name. For NSLOOKUP at fragment.com, or more generally, you can just write NSLOOKUP options domain name server. So we have read about the records, right? You just follow that, the record query type here. So when you just write here nslookup hyphen type hyphen a fragment.com. So A is for like IP before address, right? So it gives us the IP address. Okay. Then the A and the quad A records are used to return IP before an IP6 address. Okay. So MX for the mail one, mail account one. So in this way, we can just okay check the TXT records of THM Labs. What is the flag here? Then we have to use the TXT. Okay. So I will just write here NS lookup. Okay, NS lookup hyphen type is equal to TXT. It will be capital, right? TXT. Then tryhackme.com. Enter. Okay. Okay, thm.labs.com. It was thm.labs. Just a second. hmlabs.com. The flag is this one. Okay, just copy this. And then the DNS dumpster. So DNS lookup tools, I will just give you a brief about because it is too much lengthier and this will take us more time. So uh, when we talk about the DNS dumpster, so DNS lookup tools such as NS lookup and dig cannot find subdomains on their own. Okay, so the domain you are inspecting might include a different subdomain. So DNS dumpster is the online tool that provides information about a target domain by performing various DNS queries and gathering publicly available data. It helps in the reconnaissance phase of security testing or when conducting information gathering on a target domain. So DNS dumpster offers the following features like DNS reconnaissance, subdomain enumeration. So it performs various like queries. Okay. So like look up tryhackme.com on DNS dumpster. What is one interesting subdomain that you would discover in addition to www and blog? So I will just move here in the DNS dumpster. Let me just I'll just close this and I will just open DNS dumpster and we have to search for what tryhackme.com. Okay. Search www blog and admin one is there. Let me just check it. It is not admin. It is subdomain. Okay. Let me just zoom it. The subdomains are these are the subdomains like tryhackme, www blog, remote, admin. Let me just check remote also. Yeah, this is remote. Then shodan.io. So when you are tasked to run a penetration test against specific targets as part of passive reconnaissance phase, a service like shodan.io can be helpful to learn various pieces of information about the client's network. So Shodan is a search engine specially designed for internet connected devices and systems, unlike traditional search engines that focuses on web content. So here we can just gather multiple information about a client's network. Okay, so without actively like connecting to it. So this is like this allows us to like discover and explore devices connected to the internet. Unlike traditional search engines that index web pages, Shodan focuses on indexing uh, and cataloging information about internet connected things. Okay, like the features are like device discovery, search functionality, device information. So there are multiple types. So according to Shodan.io, what is the second country in the world in terms of number of publicly accessible Apache servers? So we will move here and in the Shodan.io. So yeah, what we have to find it, like publicly Apache servers. Okay, Apache servers. I'll just write here Apache servers. Currently, the second one is Korea. Okay, let me just check it. No, in terms of number of publicly accessible Apache servers. Publicly, um, one is United States one and another one is Germany. Next, these are like not publicly available. So let me just check Germany also. Yeah. So based on Shodan, IO is the third most common port used by Apache. Third most common port. Mm, let me just try. Here when I write Apache. Okay. Okay, here it is in Germany. And when I write for the ports, um, I will just write Apache ports. So it is 8080. Okay, 8080. Yeah, third one. 8080. Okay. Then based on Shodan.io, what is the third most common port used for Nginx? I will just write here Nginx. Oh, sorry, Ng. Okay. The port is which port? Third most common. It is 888. But it is a port character. Okay, 888. Yeah. Okay, great. And the summary, in this room, we focused on passive reconnaissance, and particularly we covered command line tools like quiz and then NS lookup or dig. We also discussed two publicly available services like DNS Dumpster and Shodan.io. So we just viewed how we can just we just show how we can just use the WIS and DNS to make all these types of search. To just try all these sources and to find all the publicly available information. So that's it for this lecture. I think time is also over, so we will just continue tomorrow.